It is Friday, July 8th, 7:23 a.m. and I am on the trail now. What is today? I want to say it's day 104. I'll have to verify that though. I slept okay. I woke up several times and tossed and turned a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, I got some sleep, but I'm tired still. I can feel my body's wearing down. So I'm excited for the 0 that I'm going to take in a couple days. The plan for today is to hike 15 miles. But first I'm going to hike 8 miles and then try to get a hitch into town so I can go to McDonald's for lunch. That was the original plan. But then when I thought that Prince was going to stay at that hostel, I decided that I wasn't going to go into town. But then he texted me and said that he didn't stay at the hostel and that he camped 3 miles back from the shelter, and so he was still planning on going into town. So I'm going to do that because it's more exciting when there's like little side trips, even just to go get lunch, you know, lunch at McDonald's. So that's the plan, and then after that we'll get back on trail and hike the rest of the way. What is that, 7 miles roughly? So anyway, I'm just moving slow. It's so weird that my body's getting so tired after doing like 15-mile days. I mean, I guess yesterday was 17, but these rocks are just killer. I mean, right now they're not bad, but yeah, they're just tough, so they wear out my body faster. Anyway, for this morning I have a banana for breakfast and also some trail mix. So starting to incorporate more fresh fruit into my diet more often out here. Trying to anyway. It kind of just depends on how long the stretches are. If it's a short stretch before the next resupply, then I'll try to do healthier foods just because they weigh more. Because they weigh more, I don't want to carry them for a long time while I'm carrying a lot of other food. But anyway, alright, gonna eat my breakfast and hike, because that's what I do. I eat and I hike. I made it to the road that goes into Palmerton, and I'm going to try my hand at hitching to go into the town to get some McDonald's for lunch. 2 of the guys ahead, Prince and Day Tripper, they're already at the end of this bridge, so we're gonna hike together because I don't want to get in a car by myself. And if it's unsuccessful, we will, it's 2 miles to the town, so it's not a terrible walk if we want to continue to go. Dang, that would have been a good one, a truck. I don't know if I really like hitchhiking. I keep getting rejected. successful. And that guy actually was on his way to McDonald's because he hadn't eaten since like 6 p.m. last night. So that worked out perfectly. Alright, so we got our McDonald's. This is like the only place we can get good southern sweet tea up in the north. I'm starting to become a McDonald's fan. Yeah, we got another hitch, and it didn't take very long.
Way faster than the other one. Yeah, he said he would drive slow for us. So
Oh, nice. Holy shnikes, look how steep this is. There's an arrow right there. Oh. Alright, camera's gonna have to go away for this one. Man, I wish I had someone here that could video, but I don't. Remember how I keep saying that nothing about this trail is easy? So here's one blaze. There's another. Oh my gosh. So much of today's walk has been up on a ridge. And I've been able to see the town, and it's been so cool. I'd hate to be up here in a thunderstorm though, and it kind of does look like it's gonna rain. I don't think it's not gonna be a bad storm, but I'd rather not be up here even in the rain, because I don't know what kind of rocks are ahead, and if they're anything like the rocks I had to climb at the beginning of the hike out of Palmerton, I do not want to be stuck on those in the rain. These slippery rocks would not be good. It's like I'm hiking in the desert though. It's kind of cool. So I have to admit something. Just a ways back, I was hiking. Ouch! Ow, I just hit my elbow with my trekking pole. I was hiking on this gravel road, and I didn't see any white blazes for a while. And I kept looking, and I'm like, why aren't I seeing any blazes? So I pull up the map, and I go to the one setting where it shows the trail as a red line, and it gives a little icon of myself, and it's on the red line, and I'm like, okay, well at least I'm on the trail. I guess they just don't put white blazes on this because it's just a road and there's only one way to go. And but usually I'll see a white blaze, and then I look and I see what I thought was a white blaze on the tree. I'm like, okay, good, I am on the trail. But then I kept walking, and that road was really long, and I just thought it was weird that I didn't see, consistently see the blazes. And again, I thought, well, I mean, there's no other option, so this has to be the trail, and I guess that's why they don't put the blaze. But I just kept getting this feeling that I wasn't on the trail. So I kept looking. I looked at the map several different times, kept showing that I was on the trail. Well, when I zoomed in, it showed, my little icon kept hopping back and forth. It would get on the trail, but then it would like hop just to the side of the trail. And I'm like, does that mean that the trail is like to my right and it's running parallel to this road, or what? But then it would jump back on the red line. So I'm like, okay, well, I am on the trail. And it kept going back and forth like that. And so I just kept walking on that road. Well, I get to the gate for the road, like to keep cars out, and just looking for that blaze. And then I see 2 blazes, and I go and I look at them, and then I see that it goes into the woods, and I see another blaze in the woods. So I'm like, well, shoot, I didn't hike on the trail. That road wasn't the trail. And so I look at, I'm like, well, I'm not hiking back up there, because that was a long road. And so, yeah, I didn't hike on the trail. There was a section that I didn't hike the trail. See, like this too. Here's a white blaze, but I went this way onto the road, which that's just a little section. That's okay. Normally, I would go back and hike it so that I could hit every single white blaze, but that road was really long. So I basically hiked a road that was parallel to the trail. So I am no longer a purist, but that's okay. A little disappointed, but it was pretty much hiking on the trails. Just had to admit that. Well, the rain finally caught up with me, so I am being extra cautious. Well, there's not any rocks now, but on the rocks I'm being extra cautious because I know they will be slippery and I do not want to fall. When I was explaining or admitting earlier about not being a purist anymore and how I walked that gravel road instead of the actual trail, I wanted to also say that for me, the Appalachian Trail, it does represent life. A lot of people say that the trail is like life. You don't know what's ahead. There's gonna be lots of ups and downs. It's gonna be hard, challenging, but rewarding at times. But so the way I'm looking at it, so that I feel better about myself, is in life, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, but you just have to keep moving forward. And so it's kind of cheesy, I know, but that's what I'm telling myself. So. This thing always gets water on it. It's blurry. Alright, so I don't think I told this story last night when I was doing my end of the day recap, but I do want to tell it to document it. So, at the shelter, I had probably the worst shelter experience on trail so far last night, and that was the bake oven knob shelter. So the shelter and the area around it, it's not the most well kept, and which that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. You're out in nature, grass is gonna grow, weeds are gonna grow, everything. But anyway, so I walked there, and at first I didn't find any campsites to put my tent up, but then I did find one, and it actually was pretty nice. So good and bad. But so it's getting later, and I eat dinner, everything, and I'm like, okay, I need to go filter water. So I ask anyone at the shelter if they want me to take their water bottle down and get them some water, and there's one girl that she says, yeah, just a little bit. She just needs a little bit. So I take her bag and my bottles, and I go down. I skip the first spring because it was bone dry. I go to the second spring, and there was this guy there with his dog, and he was super frustrated because he had been there for like 45 minutes and wasn't collecting a whole bunch of water. So I said, well, I'm gonna go check out the third spring, and hopefully that'll be better. So I start walking and walking and walking and keep walking down the trail, down the Blue Blaze trail, and I get to a no trespassing sign, and then the trail with the Blue Blaze turns left. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess the no trespassing is on the right, and then the trail's on the left. So I do that. I see some more signs, but again, they're on the right, so they're adjacent to the trail. I keep walking, and it's getting later. It's not dark yet, and it won't be dark for a little while, but in the woods, because of all the foliage, it gets dark quicker. So I keep walking, and it's all pretty much downhill, and I'm like, this is gonna be a bear to hike back up once I get the water. And so I stop and I listen for water, don't hear anything. So I keep walking some more, and I do that several times where I stop and listen, don't hear anything, keep walking. Well, finally, I'm like, I've got to turn around. I don't have a flashlight. I don't have my phone on me. Once it gets dark, it's gonna be hard to see those blue blazes on the tree, and I don't want to get stuck down here, get lost, and then have to sleep down in the woods outside of my tent without all of my stuff until the morning when I can see again. So I turn around and I go back. I follow the blue blazes. Then I get to this part of the trail where another trail jets off to the left and one jets off to the right. And I'm like, oh shoot, I don't remember which way I came from, and I don't see a blue blaze. So I got so scared and almost started like panicking because I didn't know which way to go. And then I felt lost, and I hate that feeling of feeling lost. And so, and you know when you're scared, your body temperature, like you get really hot. Well, I was already in my rain pants and rain jacket because that helps keep the bugs off of my skin at night. So I was wearing that, and then walking up a hill, and then just being scared. So I was super hot and sweaty, and I'm like, well, the shower I had today, it didn't do anything. I mean, I'm stinky again. So I'm like, I tell myself it's okay, just walk, choose the path that looks the most traveled. So I choose the path to the left, and I get like a few feet, and I see a blue blaze. So there was a huge relief. Sorry, this thing keeps getting blurry. Okay, well, it's just gonna have to be blurry. So then I follow the trail. I'm like, I just have to get to that second spring. That guy should still be there. I won't be down here alone. And then I'll be able to find my way back to the shelter. So I find the second spring. So I go over, I have to climb over the log because the tree fell. I get to the spring, and I'm there for like 40 minutes probably, trying to collect water. So there's a pool of water, but it's pretty stagnant, and it just looks gross. So there's like bugs floating in it and everything. I'm like, well, I don't really want to scoop it from there. I'd rather collect it from the water that's trickling down. So I try all these, like a couple different leaves. I pull them off the branches and try to, you set up the leaf, and you get the water to go in the one side, and then like point it into the bottle, and the water goes in there. Well, the way that, like the angle of trying to get, I was trying to hold the leaf in my left hand and then hold the bottle in my right hand, and it just was like I was angled down. I don't know, it was very, very difficult. And then I get a little bit, so I go and filter that into my bottle, and then I go back to get more in my bag, and I step on the rock and I slip and fall. I didn't get hurt or anything, but by that time I'm getting super frustrated at this. And this is like the most difficult water source I've dealt with out here so far. And so I'm getting annoyed. And it really made me appreciate running water in civilization. That appreciate that we don't have to go through this hassle every time to get water. Well, so I finally get enough water to filter both of my bottles, at least most of the way. But then I was like, well shoot, I can't go up with just water for me after I told someone I would get them water. So I'm like, I have to stay down here and get her some water. So I go back over there. By that time I lost my leaf, and so I found a different one and do the same thing, angle the leaf so that it goes into the bottle. But hers worked a lot better, so I should have started with hers and then just used her bag to filter into my bottles, but oh well, hindsight's 2020. So I finally get her, I wanted to fill the entire bag, but it was getting too dark. I'm like, I have to go now. And so I grab all the bottles and the bags and I head back to the main Blue Blaze, and I'm hiking up, and then I lose the trail. I don't know, like I couldn't see it, and it just looks like just rocks everywhere. And so then I start freaking out again because I started feeling lost again, and I'm like, I've got to be close to the shelter. So I almost yelled out to the people at the shelter so that they could yell back and I could just follow their voice. But then I eventually I happened to see the trail, so I'm like, okay, I'm on the trail, I'm fine. So then I hike up the Blue Blaze, and I trip on this rock and fall into the bushes, and completely fall on my butt, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I get up and I keep walking, and then I see the shelter, and I'm like, yes, thank you. I had previously prayed to God that He would protect me out there, that He would keep me safe, and that He would help me find the shelter. And so when I saw that shelter, oh my gosh, such a sigh of relief. So I get to the shelter, and I hand the bag to the girl, and I said, I hope this is enough. This is all I could get. And I told her the story, told her about me, like almost yelling out to her so she could yell back. And she looks at the guy that is sleeping in the shelter, and she's like, well, he's snoring and I'm listening to Stranger Things in my headphones, so we wouldn't even been able to hear ya. And I thought, why would you tell me that? Like, I went down to get you water. I would hope that you would notice that I've been gone and you would come look for me. But yeah, so it's fine. She wasn't being mean or anything. I was still just kind of shaken. So then I get to my tent. I'm in my tent, and I called my husband. I'm like, I just need to talk to you for a little bit because I felt like I was lost 2 times in the woods, and I'm still a little shaken. So I just need you to calm me down. And he's like, well, you're in your tent now, right? I said, yes. He's like, okay, and you're good. So, and then before I had looked for a privy and I couldn't find one. So I'm like, at that moment, I'm like, tomorrow morning when I have to go to the bathroom, I'm digging a hole right there at the campsite. I don't care. I am not going on any of these little side trails. I'm not going in the woods because I do not want to get lost again. And as I just was scared. But oh, dang it. But then someone ended up camping right next to me, so I couldn't do that. Alrighty, made it to camp. I'm staying at Delps Creek. I still have to go get water, which is 0.4 miles down a hill, so not really looking forward to that. But I need to do it soon before it rains. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people here. So it was difficult to get the stakes in though because it was very, very rocky. I'm getting very tired of these Pennsylvania rocks. They are getting on my nerves so bad. Alright, well, I just got back from getting water. It was brutal. It was a 0.4 mile hike downhill on rocks. I am so tired of these rocks. And then the water, it wasn't very fast, but you know what? It was way, way better than last night. So I can't complain too much. But the hike back up, I'm just covered in sweat. I had my rain pants on again to keep the bugs off, and I knew I was gonna get really hot. But it's worth having the sweat on my legs and my whole body rather than the bug bites, because I already have bug bites and they are starting to itch real bad. So but I didn't get lost. Actually, what's his name? Flipper. He walked up ahead of me. So we were talking the whole time, and yeah, so we had 2 people looking for the blazes, and it actually wasn't difficult to follow that trail. But my whole body is covered in sweat. So I'm just laying here trying to let the sweat dry, and then I'm gonna eat dinner and probably watch some Netflix. I wouldn't say I'm exhausted, but I'm very tired. Yeah, I need to figure out how many miles I hiked today, and yeah. So I hiked 18.3 miles today. Overall, the day, it was hard. I mean, Pennsylvania or Rocksylvania has been very, very hard. But it's been, parts have been fun. Like the rock scramble that I did today. I mean, where I had to throw my poles up and pull myself up the rocks. It was hard and it was scary, but it was fun and it was different. But my feet hurt so bad. So Rocksylvania is so far my least favorite state of the trail, but it's all part of the journey, and so try to embrace it as much as I can, but my feet do hurt, and it just makes my body tired. But because I hiked 18.3 miles today, that means that tomorrow I actually only have 10.6 miles to the tavern that I'm planning on staying at. So that's really good. It's almost like not really a Nero. I still consider that a short day, but not a Nero. But anyway, and then I loved being able to take that side trip to go to McDonald's for lunch, and then ice cream, and then experiencing again hitchhiking. So I like doing that. I decided that if I can, I'm going to try to do little side trips like that just to make it more enjoyable and different, make the days different, because I do love hiking, but I really love going into the different towns and just doing different stuff like that. So anyway, that's it for today. I look like a mess. My hair's wet from the rain, my body's gross from all the sweat, and yeah, that's it for today. So good night.